Hello, my friends. For reading today, I have a story for you called Cherries and Cherry Pits. It's written by Vera B. Williams, and this is a story about a girl named Bidemi, it's this little girl, who loves to draw. As Bidemi draws, she tells little stories about the interesting characters that she creates. So, we're not going to read the whole book today, but we're going to read parts of it. And I'm not going to show you all the pictures because you're going to practice something called visualization. You're going to try to picture what's happening in your mind. But to start, you'll get to see the pictures. So, Cherries and Cherry Pits by Vera B. Williams. Dedication page. Bidemi lives on the floor above me. We visit back and forth a lot. Bidemi loves to draw, so when she opens the door, I'm often standing there with a marker of some kind or color she doesn't have yet. She always tries a new marker right away. First, she makes a dot on the paper. Then she draws a line out from that dot. As she draws, she tells the story of what she's drawing. She always starts with the word this. This is the door on the subway. All right, I'm not going to show you this picture. So as I'm reading, really try to visualize. What does it look like? This is the door to the subway, and this is a man leaning on the door. I hope he doesn't fall out when the door opens all of a sudden. His face is a nice face, but it is also not so nice. He has a fat wrinkle on his forehead. It's like my mother's wrinkle. It's from worrying and worrying, my mother says. And his neck is thick, and his arms are thick with very big, strong muscles. His shirt is striped blue and white, and his skin is dark brown, and in his great big hands he has a small white bag. This man looks so strong. I think he could even carry a piano on his head. But he's only carrying this little white bag. I wonder what can be in that little bag. Okay, I'm going to have you stop here for a second. And I'm wondering what you think this character looks like. What did you picture in your head, or what clues from the story popped out to you that made you think, oh, that's what it looks like? So for example, for me, the part that says he has a fat wrinkle on his forehead, that made me think, okay, so he must have a big old squiggle on his forehead, a big fat wrinkle. I also liked the part where it said he has great big hands, but they're only carrying a little white bag. To me, that was kind of an interesting description, these giant hands with a little tiny white bag. That made me think that the striped blue and white striped shirt, that popped out in my mind as well. So those were a few details that I thought of that helped me picture what this man looks like. Now, I'm going to show you the picture that Bidemi drew, and I want you to think, whoa, that looks just like what I pictured, or it doesn't look anything like what I pictured. You ready? Okay, here's Bidemi's drawing. Is that like what you pictured? And like the little tiny white bag in his hand? So small. All right, it might be really similar to what you pictured, or maybe totally different. Either way, it's okay. It's what our brain pictures, and if we're able to use the words in the text to help us figure out what it looks like. All right, so we're going to put this visualization to the test. What I want you to do is get a piece of paper and some coloring utensils, crayons or markers or colored pencils. Go and grab those things and bring them back, because I'm going to read you another visualization in a second that you're going to draw. So pause the video to get a piece of paper and some coloring utensils. Go do it now. Okay, so you should have your coloring utensils and piece of paper at this point. I am going to have you post this on Seesaw as your work. So if you need to go get them, please do that now. So visualization is a powerful comprehension strategy that good readers use to help them understand what's going on in a story. And that's one reason why we practice visualization. So I'm going to keep reading for a few more pages, but then we're going to do another practice, and you're actually going to draw what your brain visualizes. So get ready. We'll do a regular reading for the next part. I can just see that man going home to his house and walking up the stairs and opening the door to his living room. His living room has a pretty lamp, and he switches it right on. His kids are in the kitchen. Dee Dee, Dennis, Dwayne, Dory, he calls. I got something here for you. Then they come out. One sits on one of his legs and one on the other. One leans right in between. And Dee Dee, she climbs round him back and leans over his shoulder. Then he opens the bag and pulls out a cherry. He puts one cherry in each of their mouths, and another, really red cherries too. And there they sit, eating the cherries and spitting out the pits. Eating cherries and spitting out the pits. And before you can even ask Bademi any questions about that story, such as how come the names of the man's children begin with D, she has another piece of paper ready and is drawing. This is a train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She's almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother. On her head is a black hat with a pink flower, like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves, like leaves in my uncle's florist shop. On her feet are old, old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. Okay, so this is the part where you're going to draw what you visualize. I'm going to read it to you again. It's about this woman here sitting on the train. Okay, I'm going to read it to you and draw using colors, crayons, colored pencils, whatever it is you'd like, how you visualize. Now, we're not all perfect artists, and that's okay. I want you to just do your best to get what's in your brain on the piece of paper. It's okay if it's not perfect. Just do the very best you can. Okay, get ready. I'm going to read this passage a couple of times so you can try to figure out all the clues for what it looks like. Here we go. This is the train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She is almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother. On her head is a black hat with a pink flower, like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves, like the leaves in my uncle's florist shop. On her feet are old, old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. All right, I'm going to read it one more time so you can continue drawing and add details that you hear. Ready? This is the train seat, and this is a tiny white woman sitting on the train seat. She is almost as short as I am, but she is a grandmother. On her head is a black hat with a pink flower, like a rose flower. It has shiny green leaves, like the leaves in my uncle's florist shop. On her feet are old, old shoes. These are the buckles, and in her lap is a big black pocketbook, and in the pocketbook is a bag. Okay. You may take as long as you need to work out this visualization, and if you want to hear the passage again, just rewind the video and listen to it again. Your job today, when you finish this visualization, is to take a picture of it and post it on Seesaw. That's your job, and I'm not going to show you Bademi's drawing until next class. So we're going to post the visualization that you just drew or are currently drawing onto Seesaw, and that's your job for reading today. Okay? I can't wait to see what you visualize.